Good afternoon and welcome to our group project about dyslexia. It's going to be presented by me, Frank Williams, Ridwan Ghali, also Uthman Abrahams. In this presentation, we are going to look at what is dyslexia, the definitions for dyslexia, the causes, how can you identify dyslexia, teaching strategies for teachers that has learners that has been diagnosed with dyslexia, and also a group conclusion.
Good day, I am Ridwan Hali, and today we will be talking about what is dyslexia. Simply, dyslexia is a common learning difference that affects how people process language, especially written words. It's not about intelligence or effort. In fact, many students with dyslexia are highly intelligent, creative, they just learn differently. They often struggle with tasks like recognizing and decoding words quickly and accurately, spelling consistently, and reading fluently. These challenges aren't due to a lack of trying, they stem from how the brain processes language. Dyslexia has no connection to intelligence or effort. It's simply a different way of processing information. Students with dyslexia often have strong problem-solving skills, creativity, and big-picture thinking. Their challenges lie in accessing information efficiently through traditional reading and writing pathways. As understanding this shift in perspective from a deficit to a difference is the first step towards effective support. Academic definition of dyslexia. Now let's take a deeper look at the academic definition because knowing the science helps us make better decisions in the classroom. According to the according to the International Dyslexia Association, dyslexia is a specific learning disability that is neurobiological in origin. It's characterized by difficulties with accurate and fluent word recognition and poor spelling and decoding abilities. These struggles typically come from a deficit in phonological components of language, the part of the brain responsible for breaking down sounds in words. This difficulty often appears unexpected compared to other cognitive strengths, which means a student might excel in maths or art while struggling with reading. Importantly, these challenges are confirmed by imaging studies. The image on the slideshow functional MRI scans comparing typical and dyslexic brain activity during reading tasks. Notice this disruption in the of the reading systems, the area responsible for processing written language. That's why students with dyslexia may read slowly, misread words, or skip lines, even when they understand the content. But here's what's critical. Dyslexia exists on continuum. Some students have mild difficulties, others more significant. It's also often running in families and its primarily affect word level reading, though secondary consequences can include reduced reading comprehension and limited vocabulary growth due to less exposure to text. So, what does this mean for teaching? It means we must move beyond one size fits all instruction. We need structured, systematic approaches, especially in phonics and decoding, that addresses the root of the issue, but more than that, we need to build confidence and resilience in our students. Because when a student with dyslexia sees their strengths affirmed and their challenges met with strategy, they don't just learn to read, they learn to believe in themselves.
We are now going to look at the causes of dyslexia. Researchers agree that dyslexia is not caused by teaching laziness, lack of intelligence. Instead, it is genetics. Many learners with dyslexia have a family history of reading difficulties. Brain imaging studies has shown differences in how the brain processes languages, especially in areas linked to reading. Some children are at higher risk or even higher risk when they are born prematurely or had complications during birth. Environmental issues such as limited exposure to books and storytelling at a young age or in the early years can also play a role. It is important to stress that these causes do not mean a learner can't succeed. It just means that a learner will succeed differently. A teacher can try and identify dyslexia, not diagnose dyslexia, but can identify dyslexia in the following ways. Dyslexia can look different from one learner to another, but there are common classroom signs teachers can look for. Learners may read very, very slowly. It takes them a lot of effort to read anything, and also they often guess words rather than trying to decode them while reading. Spelling mistakes can occur even with familiar words that they are used to. They may struggle with phonological awareness, for example, identifying the sounds in the word cat. They would struggle with that. Tasks that involve reading or writing take them longer than it takes their peers, and often they would avoid reading aloud because it makes them feel embarrassing. Teachers should remember that these learners are not lazy. They are working much, much harder than their fellow peers, and they're trying their best to succeed, even when it comes to recalling very, very familiar words to them.
Hello, my name is Uthman Abrams, and I'll be doing teaching strategies and the conclusion. Okay, so number one, use mind maps to organize ideas. Mind maps show ideas in pictures and short words. This helps learners with dyslexia understand easier without feeling overwhelmed. It keeps them more organized, makes lessons less stressful, and helps them remember information better by linking words with visuals. Number two, real life examples being linked to new learning. Connecting lessons to real life helps learners understand better. For example, if you use money to teach maths, um, it makes the work more practical and much more familiar. Learners with dyslexia, they find it easier to remember when they see um, how school links with real life, links to real life experiences. Number three, when instructions are given, keywords are emphasized. So when teachers stress the most, so when teachers emphasize more on the important words, the learners that have dyslexia, they can focus on what matters. So it avoids confusion. Um, like confusion arises when long sentences are given. Number four, using pictures with text in order for learners to understand better. So pictures makes reading easier, um, especially learners with dyslexia, because they can see what is happening while it's being read to them. Number five, extra time given to those still busy. So learners with dyslexia, they often need more time to finish schoolwork and tasks. Um, so allowing extra time, it removes the stress from them, and it helps them to work at their own speed. Number six, using visual icons as markers. So visual icons like arrows or bullet points, it helps learners to know where to start and what they must do. They don't really need long words in order to understand. The shorter words will work better. Number 7, peer tutoring. So their friend within class or a classmate can work with the learner and um, can explain and help them in a nice manner. It makes learning easier and much more fun. Number 8, dyslexia students, they present their work orally. So learners with dyslexia, they struggle to write, but they can speak very well. So if you allow oral presentation, it lets them show their knowledge with more confidence. Number 9, instructions that are being read out loud while the learners follow in their books. When the teachers read instructions, when the teachers read instructions loud to the learners with dyslexia, they'll understand it much more. They don't have to struggle with reading alone, and hearing the task, it helps them follow along in the books. Number 10, work being broke up in smaller portions. So larger tasks, it can make the learner with dyslexia feel more scared. But if you divide it into smaller steps, it makes it easier to manage. So step by step, it reduces stress. So the conclusion: challenges can be changed into opportunities, and this leads to success. With dyslexia, success is highly attainable when teachers are a guide through the phases of learning. Structured lessons create a sense of support, which ignites interest in learning. So our project shows that um, dyslexia, it doesn't show the limit to what learners are able to achieve. So the qualities that are important to have as teachers and as parents is patience, understanding, and being supportive, practically as well as emotionally. This causes learners to understand the main goal and overcome obstacles, which causes growth and success. Thank you.